Josh, this is what you experience all the time. Man.
Mate, it is. It's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Wow. Wow, man.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. He's really
Craig, have you slept? Have you slept, Craig? Be honest.
3 hours. I went to bed at 5 a.m. I was just like watching all content. Brian, my voice is gone. Brian, you must have did this when you lot won.
I absolutely just absorbed every single bit of content around it when we won the final, and rewatched it over and over. This is going to happen for a while now. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's beautiful.
It's amazing. Does this make me a glory hunter now?
Nah.
I support a glory hunting some. I'm a glory hunter. I can't believe this is what this feels like. Fucking hell.
Oh, God. I seen a tweet earlier, someone saying, Man United are now like that club, like that kid at school who used to bully you, but now works like a dead-end job later on in life. And you're like, oh, it's not going so well for you now, is it? We'll get started because KG, bless him, he looks like Santa Claus at Easter right now. He's just a bit, he's not much use to anyone right now, bless him. We'll start with the first question, boys. One for Craig and KG. Who deserves to win? KG, I'm really interested to know if you think that Man United deserve to win, mate.
Fuck United, man. Pricks. There's no way you can tell me that they deserve to win anything. They don't deserve shit. They let themselves down. They're a total embarrassment. We don't deserve nothing. We were supposed to, it wasn't even for the players, it was for the fans. Yeah. And they did that. That's bullshit. That's the worst final I've ever seen. Not on Spurs, on Man United. We don't deserve nothing.
But Amorim said you deserve to win, didn't he?
He's an idiot. He's an idiot for that. That's the worst thing he's ever said. No, it's not the worst. It's in a catalogue of things he said, but that's just up there. It's another thing you add to the pile of bullshit that he's been saying. I'm pissed off, bro. So yeah, this is the first thing I'm doing today, and I'm still mad. I've slept on it, and I'm pissed off.
We got the good energy there. We've got the fresh reaction from KG. I should just let everyone know he did lose a bet. That's why the beard's looking a little different.
Fucking Ed Sheeran, fam.
Craig, did you think you lot deserve to win it, or do you not care?
I mean, I don't really care. I just wanted to get over the line, to be honest. I went to watch at the stadium with my dad and all the other Spurs fans. And everyone, the feeling there was just win. We don't care how it goes in. I don't care if they didn't credit Brennan Johnson with that goal. If they did, just win the game. And I love the fact, my voice is mashed up. I love the fact that Ange, he tweaked what he does. Ange Ball was a thing yesterday. It was about get the job done. Spurs need a trophy. And we got the job done by hook or by crook. So I'm just, this feeling, I don't know what this is. What is this? What is this feeling? Like, I'm trying to work out what this feeling is. Like a champion. Spurs, I'm a champion. Is that actually what's happening here? A European champion. Not champions of Europe, that's obviously the Champions League, but a European champion.
You know that photograph, by the way, that photograph of you on the pitch on your knees.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand. Like, maybe you do, but like, that's something you're going to look back on when you're an old man and be like, look at me, I'm on the fucking pitch on my knees with one of the most epic fan photographs you could ever have. You smashed that, bro.
Hey, just so crazy, Brian. When I got on the pitch, some kid stopped me and he was like, oh my God, Craig. And I was like, can I get a pic? And I was like, yeah. And we took a pic and I was like, actually, can you get a picture of me? So I went on my knees. I just gave him the phone. And then he put it on portrait mode and took the coldest photo ever. I could have picked anyone there to take the photo. And I managed to pick that. And I said to him, do you do photography? And then he's like, I know a thing or two. I was like,
oh, mate. So, just on what you just said, let's just talk about Big Ange versus Amorim, because what you just said is really interesting. Both of these managers are obviously in a hellhole of a situation in the Premier League, right? Like, 21 defeats, 18 defeats. And one of the main reasons, in my opinion, is because they are so one-dimensional. They are so stubborn. And they play, a style of football that you could easily argue just doesn't suit the modern Premier League era, which is probably why it's done all right for them in Europe. But Big Ange showed he was adaptable. And Amorim really didn't. Amorim did, a lot of the same things, although, even worse in many regards, and not starting the players you could argue he should have done. What do you think about Big Ange showing he was adaptable in that moment?
Listen, and everyone knows I'm not Ange's biggest fan. I thought our campaign was terrible. Since he's got here, I haven't been the biggest fan of his tactics. Like, we get hit on the break easily. It doesn't ever look like he has really a plan B. But he did what everyone was asking for. Just show something different. Adapt. Sometimes you got to put your pride to the side and adapt for the sake of the cause. And I love the fact that not only did he do that, it's the fact that all of the players bought into it and they actually executed it. Like, we saw, I know there's this negative stigma around defending to win games. You know what I mean? Everyone you see onto Jose Mourinho for doing it. But in a final, you just got to find a way to get over that line. And I don't know if he's lying or not, Ange, because I watched his post-match press conference and he was basically saying that he said from ages ago that he told the club, Daniel Levy, that I'm going for the Europa League. Forget everything else. That's the priority this season. And he sacrificed the Premier League in order to get the Europa League. And he made it sound like this was the plan from ages ago. Now, if it is true, then he is a genius, if it is true. Okay, but I don't want to be negative, but I do think I'm leaning towards the side of, you know what, he's just going to make that suit his narrative right now because, we won the Europa League and we're doing bad in the Premier League. But
the fact that he called it, though, the fact that he said, I always win things in my second season, and he's been ridiculed so much, for him to come up smelling of roses at the end, even I've had a pop at him this season, but you've got to say, fair. Even you, Josh, you must, even as a Chelsea fan, must say, that was pretty fun, to watch.
Do you know what's really funny is there's a big backlash in the Chelsea community of anyone that gives Spurs any praise. Like we're meant to just hate them so much that we just don't want them to be victorious. It's so funny because in this game, I don't particularly, I don't care about the results, to be honest with you. Like, they're both so poor and they both needed this win so much. Whoever won, fair play to them. That would have saved their season. And then they now look like heroes off the back of it. But going back to Ange, the question I've got really for the round table is, does that save him? There's moments last night where he gets brought into the celebrations. I don't know if you saw that video where he was standing on the outside, almost Ashley Cole-esque, and gets brought into the celebrations. The players clearly love him. And I think Daniel Levy now, I get the sense from him that he is quite a loyal geezer. Do you know what I mean? Like, he will back managers. And obviously that in a weird way, this is quite a successful season for them. So, is he going to stick around? Are they going to keep him now? If we're talking about Amorim staying, why can we not talk about Postecoglou staying? Listen,
this is how I feel, and everyone knows I've been Ange out. I genuinely think this is the perfect time to part ways, personally. And I know that sounds harsh because he's just given me probably the best moment of my life in football, right, since I've been alive. However, I can't get out of my head what happened with Ten Hag last season. And I know they're different contexts, different clubs or whatever, but I remember Ten Hag being under pressure towards the end of last season. He won a trophy. He ended up keeping his job. The fans had that same feeling after the final. You know what? He's won us the trophy. Went into the next season and then he got sacked. Now, I'm just worried that if we do revert back to Ange Ball, I actually don't believe in Ange Ball. Ange Ball didn't win us this trophy. It didn't. Ange Ball got us 20 league defeats, if we're being honest. And like I said, he's framed it like that was the mastermind plan all along. But I'm not convinced. I think even
finishing 17th is not a fucking plan. It's a bad plan if it is a plan.
It's insane. And also, I think that for his sake, it will be best for him to walk now because he leaves with everything intact. He goes, I completed the project, which was deliver Spurs a trophy. He gets to leave with his head held high. And then he still gets another big job where I think it's rolling the dice for him. If he goes,
in the press conference,
he's already said he wants to stay, and I get it. It's the romanticism of football, isn't it? And this is where logic needs to creep. And the league doesn't lie for me. If I was in charge of Spurs, there'd be no question of sacking this guy. Let's be honest. This is one of the the poorer Europa Leagues we've seen in a long time. They've been fortunate and celebrate it. Who gives a shit? Enjoy it. Like, same with the League Cup with Newcastle. Who cares? But you've got to celebrate it, but you've got to also have that logic and go, is this a project that's going somewhere? I don't think it is. We're going to flip over to Man United, right? Because that's a project that really does seem to just go from, bad to worse. And financially, this is a major missile to the club, because this was a real opportunity for them to get out of jail with a get out of jail free card, and they've missed that now. They're saying that their income is going to be severely damaged, and therefore even more players than they wanted to sell, they'd earmark potentially Garnacho and Menu, who may need to go because they're obviously homegrown talent, and possibly why they didn't, start last night's game. But there's also now a lot of talk about Bruno Fernandes leaving to make up the difference. I just want to go to KG and just talk about the game a little bit. Like, how bad of a blow is this, and what did Amorim, in your opinion, get wrong?
Amorim bottled it, man. Amorim absolutely bottled it. Totally. He played a game. This is in this competition is the only place we've been good. Yeah. So we've, I'm being in this competition. Why? You had Casemiro, Ugarte, Bruno, Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, even though he's just there. So you might as well say 10 men, whatever. Now, in this situation, he decides I'm getting with Mason Mount and Ahmad. They haven't played. Like, you put Ahmad wide and we even got sewn up. We got dealt with anyway. But the fact of the matter is that four, you've asked Bruno to do something even more difficult. Bruno wants to create. He hasn't played there for a long time. You move him back to the 6 when he's been playing the 10 in this competition for you the whole time. He's got the most assists in this competition. Most assists, most goals. And you put him there. What's he thinking? And then it took a Spurs player getting injured in the 75th minute to change it. That is a disgrace. Spurs had 4 players out and they still won. 4. You can't tell me that they had no Bergvall, they had no Kulusevski, they had no Madison. Yeah? And you Son, whatever you want to say about him, but they had fucking Richarlison on the wing, mate, and you still couldn't win. We had a fully fit team. We had everybody but De Ligt. So there's no excuse of he's got injuries. There is literally no excuses. I get it. We can blame the Glazers to the whatever come, and in Ineos you can blame all these situations, but this manager had a full set of players to pick from, and he picked the worst ones. That's the biggest, that's the damning indictment. He doesn't get away with this. This is the fact that Spurs are shit, yeah? And we still lost.
Watch how you talk the word champions.
Spurs are shit.
Watch how you talk about European.
4 times.
The European champions. I'll have you know.
And you're a team that make me wake up. You're a team, yeah? As soon as he beat us with Ten Hag, yeah, the last time he beat us, I said Ten Hag's got to go. I'm looking at this manager, same feeling. It doesn't change, bro.
4 times we backed you. We backed you 4 times.
This manager has to go. Yeah, it's fine.
Put on your head top.
Quadruple, and he has to go. If you're talking about
that's why I was thinking that Man United would win, because with Man United losing 3 times, as a coach, it's like Eddie Howe with Arteta. Like, he beat him 3 times. On the 4th time, I'm like, come on, Arteta's got to have figured something out. At this point, Amorim hadn't figured anything out in this game, and he said, last thing he said, this is what was scary. This is the thing that done it for me. Because I said, I'm going to wake up, see how I feel in the morning. He said, if they want to get rid of me, they can get rid of me. I won't even take severance. I don't even care about compensation. You can't say that. No one says that. No, I'm going to fight to the end. You can't say, guys, get rid of me, but I'm going to fight to the end. Which one is it? That's bullshit. You're you're asking for them to kill you. You're asking for it. Yeah. He's waving the white flag. And a lot of some of the players seem frustrated. Garnacho has been speaking out. He said, it's been difficult for all of us. This season has been shit, which is wild to be saying that, just not giving a fuck. We lost the final. We didn't beat anyone in the Premier League. It's very difficult. I played every round to help the team reach the final, and today I only got 20 minutes. I don't know. I'll try and enjoy the summer and then see what happens. So He's off. I think
he's going.
He's off.
Then they went to
the best centre back in the world.
They asked Amorim, what you think about that, and he said, why did you start him over Mason Mount? It's easy to say that now, but who missed a big opportunity in the first half of the semi-final? Garnacho. Footballers like that.
Did Amorim say that?
Yeah, he did. He did. He called him out.
Yeah, so he fired back. And it is interesting because obviously in the last final you were in, from memory, it was Manu and Garnacho who were the two key players in that game, and yet they got like 20 odd minutes between them.
He got 9. Mainly got 9. 2 minutes.
The extra time.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace.
Bruno Fernandes has also spoken and said if the club thinks it's time to part ways because they want to do some cashing in or whatever, it is what it is. And he kind of goes on to, he sounds very accepting of now it might be the time to go. And also, he's been dragging this, when you see strongmen dragging an aeroplane. This is Bruno Fernandes with Man United, and it's like, what would it be like to have multiple people helping me do this right now? Like, he must be getting sick, and I do think that may be. I know they've had massive offers or interest from Saudi, which would make a lot of sense at this point in Bruno's career. He might.
No, we take him. Tell him to come to Arsenal. What's his price tag? I'll take him. Come to the champions, man. What have you over here, Bruno? You're overrated, but what have you?
The thing is, right, is they do need Man United need to cash in this summer. They're going to have to sell some of their best players to be able to raise enough money to actually rebuild a squad. They're going to have to completely transform what is an underperforming team, a team that could be fighting for relegation next season, to actually enable Amorim or an ex-manager to compete. Because quite frankly, right now, the squad isn't there. We've seen it time and time again. Sometimes you need to sacrifice the best player to be able to build a team. And they don't have a team right now.
It's time.
I think they need to think about the way they do this, because obviously I've watched Newcastle go from where Man United are now back to a good place. And I think the frame of mind Newcastle were in order to do that is very important. And Man United, when I hear the fans talking about we're slipping further away now, the gap's getting bigger and bigger, it's like, you need to stop thinking about the gap. You need to stop thinking about the top. You are not even relevant to that conversation. And play your football and make signings for where you are right now and climb the ladder instead of trying to, jump up the ladder in one summer. It's the wrong frame of mind, in my opinion. And whether it's Amorim or any manager, that's got to be the approach now. It's got to be a totally different way of thinking of, we are a 16th place club and we need to address our summer windows like a 16th place club. And yes, you're going to have an advantage over some clubs because you got a bit more money and more status. But ultimately, there's a lot of players now who will look at Manchester United and some of them won't care, but some of them will think if they've got options, is that a good place to go right now? Because it's where careers go to die currently. Let's talk a little bit about Amorim, because the percentages aren't doing a lot for him in the Premier League since he came. 53% loss ratio, 23% win ratio. For any manager and any club in the Premier League, that's the form to get you sacked. That's just what it is, right? And I think with Amorim, because he's got a good record before he came, he's quite charismatic. He's got the look of a man who looks like he might be a European Cup winner at one point. But that's bullshit. People need to judge him on the data. And the data says, in my opinion, it's time to go. And one of the main reasons for me is his style, his formation. I just don't see that working long term in the Premier League. You get dominated in almost every midfield battle. And it's very hard for him to get the work. And people go, well, he hasn't got his own team yet. That's absolutely fair enough. When is he going to have his own team? It's going to take a long time.
Never.
No manager has his own team. Graham Potter didn't have his own team when he spanked you at West Ham. Like, you've got to use a lot of the tools you've already got and then add some, yeah. But if you're showing, and it's been shown, it's not up for debate, you cannot get much out of these players, you're not getting a lot out of them, you're not improving them, then why bother sticking with Amorim at this point? And there's far more reasons to get rid of him than there is to stick with him.
That's right.
What do you reckon, lads?
Go on, Kenji.
Yeah, you hit the knee on the head.
I don't speak about losers. You know,
God.
you just
I respect
it's
it.
going to be insufferable.
I would be the same. But I don't even get that. So it is what it is. Like, this is what the club has done to us. But everything you said, I hear it. I hear the sentiment, and you can answer about the whole, or the Ineos part, the Ineos factor. They didn't hire him before. And this football, he would have got sacked at West Ham with what he's got now. He would get sacked in any club. He'll get sacked. Man United, we're holding on. I don't know why we're trying to hold on, to be honest, because there's nothing to hold on there for. Even our young players that are supposed to be the future, you're not playing Kobe. Kobe's regressed under this manager. No player has improved under this manager. We're finished. We're literally, you got Garnacho calling on the manager buying back at Garnacho. Everything has gone wrong. We took a gamble, and I'm happy that we took the gamble on Rashford, but we've taken gambles and it hasn't paid off. We are bankrupt at the table. He's got to go. It's that simple. You ain't got the money for it. The club have to, as soon as he says, I can't do this, get rid of him. That's why I'm in that place.
He said that as much as he can say it, basically, in my opinion, by saying, if you want me gone, I'll go. One thing that is really interesting about this is Dan Ashworth lost his job. And one of the main reasons is because he was totally against bringing in Ruben Amorim. And there was a standoff there of, what am I doing here? If I'm not a director of football, how can I not have a say on the manager? And he must be sat thinking right now, I fucking told you.
But he wanted Southgate. That would have been we would have done this. We would have just done this. Dan Ashworth wanted Southgate. So he doesn't get no victory parade for this. It's like when Big Angie's saying, well, I planned to lose 21 times. No one plans for that. No one says this was my master plan. This has been a shit show from beginning to end, and everyone's now the rats are jumping ship, but everyone's got a piece to play in this. Amorim has his piece to play. The players, because we haven't even spoke about them, they were criminals as well. But it's again the same old shit that we're tired of. Luke Shaw sees Brennan Johnson and he still lets him in. Onana. We haven't even got to the players. Onana, floppy hands. Bro, how many times do you want, bro? Matic told you you're a disgrace, and you proved Matic right again. It palms. Who else would us? That's the easiest goal to concede in world football. I watched Sommer do amazing things in goal for Inter, and then we have this shit, bro. Even when you doubt him, he still lets you down. He's absolutely right.
Do you blame Bruno Fernandes? Do you blame Bruno for not showing up?
Bruno didn't show up. Absolutely. Bruno no one gets away with this. None of those players, because this is a game you can't lose, and they lost. So none of them, there's no quarter for anyone, bro. All pricks, bro.
Can I just caveat and counter this just quickly with the fact of, if you do sack Amorim, it's another season of transition. It's another season of complete upheaval. It's a summer where you then have to buy other players to fit a new style of a new manager, and you go through the process again. I'm speaking from someone with experience of this, going through managerial sacking after sacking after sacking. I'm telling you now, it doesn't work.
No, but we got rid of Dogu. We've only bought in one player. We've only bought one player. So
he's not looking great, by the way.
Yeah, you started the process, but also, right, the people brush over this thing where you go, we're signing players for this system, we're going to bring players in, that sort of thing. Like, Amorim needs a chance to be able to build a squad in his own image. He's going to sell players. We just talked about all the players that are going to go. That's hundreds of millions of pounds of players. If you sell Bruno, if you sell Garnacho, if you sell a few other players, right? So you can bring in other players to fit this system. Young players that are hungry, not on huge wages, not with a big ego. And maybe this system starts to look a little bit more productive than what it does right now with an archaic squad that you knew was going to be old and didn't work in any system. I mean, look, it doesn't work in an Eric Ten Hag system.
Would you trust a manager with a 22% win ratio with all the money in the world?
He's not going to get all the money in the world. He's going to have to rebuild it. It's even harder.
Would you trust him with 200 million? That's the question I want asking you.
I personally, so who are you going to bring in then? Who's going to
To your point, Josh, about him not getting all the money in the world, for me, that is actually more of a reason to sack Amorim, because in order to tailor-make this entire squad to his system, it's going to cost a level of money that they just don't have. What they do need is someone who can make chicken salad out of chicken shit, the way Eddie Howe did at Newcastle initially, where you just get them playing and getting a tune out of them to some degree, and then add players as you're going along the way and build it up gradually instead of trying to build Rome in a day. And I think that what they need more than anything else, and this is a basic statement, but a manager who knows the fucking Premier League, because this guy seems so out of his depth in the Premier League. And that's why Man United fans, when you try and you're shooting for the moon, well, you might fall on the stars. You might fall flat on your fucking face, actually. And what they went for in this guy was a future Champions League winner and all of that. And he had all the hallmarks of, someone who was going to dominate in Europe. But the reality was he can't do the basics. He can't do the bread and butter of the Premier League. And actually, you can see he's massively underestimated the job. And what you need is someone who knows how to manage a club who's finding it hard in the Premier League and has a little bit of potential at the same time. But I feel like they need a manager just to steady the ship, calm this down, get them back up the league a bit, and then go for a different manager to take them to that next level. I don't see how it's going to be possible with someone who's just so out of his depth in the Premier League.
So bring in David Moyes then. David Moyes is that's you just described David Moyes. David Moyes comes in, takes clubs that are at the bottom of the Premier League, stabilises them, pushes them on to the next level, might even get them a Conference League.
I think someone with a little more promise than that, with a little more potential.
No, but you can't say an expert in the Premier League. You can't say an expert in the Premier League that brings it up.
For example, the Crystal Palace manager.
I'm looking at him right now. We played him. Every single time we played him, we've lost. Oliver Glasner in the last 3 occasions that we played them, 4-0, 0-0.
He just won a cup with Crystal Palace, for Christ's sake, right? So he's shown good ability to take what is a mediocre squad with some good players in it, which is kind of where Man United are. And look, people say their first team now was better than Man United, but he's obviously helped with that. Then his coaching is provably working in the Premier League. We can't say that about Amorim. And I think there's a good chance that they could get him as well. Now, sorry, Palace fans.
Why would he leave? Why would he leave Palace? They can have European football. Why would he leave Palace? Palace could be playing European football.
Palace have got a ceiling that Man United don't have, obviously. And as much as Man United's a fucking circus, you know how these managers are. He's just done the unthinkable. He's just won Palace their first ever trophy. So maybe that could work. It's just an example. I just think Amorim, I understand the logic. We got to give him his own players and but it's just like, this is so bad.
I do think it's unfair, though. I do think it's unfair for him to not at least get a shot at next season. I understand the win ratio. I understand it's very raw right now, so I understand the frustrations and the emotions of the Man United fans. Well, I think Amorim definitely at least deserves a summer to he hasn't even had a summer. He hasn't had a pre-season to really put his
Whose fault is that, though? Whose fault is that?
Let this sink in. This is Amorim versus Gary fucking Neville at Valencia, the man that got sacked in the punditry. Yeah? 26 games to Amorim, 28 games to Gary Neville. Amorim has lost 14, Gary Neville lost 11. Goals per game. 1.2 for Amorim, 1.39 for Valencia. For Gary Neville. Goals conceded per game, 1.6 for Amorim, 1.4 for Gary Neville.
Wait.
20. Carry on. Wait, hold on. Win rate, 23%. Win rate for Gary fucking Neville, 35.7%. And he had a nightmare. We can't tell him to carry on with this.
Let me just get the context right, though. Did Gary Neville take over someone else's team and didn't sign players? Is it the same context? Because my
didn't sign loads of players.
I can't remember.
They had a similar amount of time in charge. Gary Neville didn't get a load of money. And the whole point about that whole time Gary Neville was there was he took over what was considered to be one of the, greatest clubs in Spanish football, and he took them backwards. What Amorim has done is even worse. And that isn't an opinion. It's a mathematical fact.
It's a fact.
No, it is. I'm just saying, though, football is very nuanced, right? There's a lot of context. And we know that if you want to play a particular style of football, you need a particular player profile to suit your philosophy and your football. All right. I'm sure there's loads of players out there that he would prefer to play in his system. I agree he should be getting better out of the players he has within his system. But if he's going to play three at the back, I'm looking at the team that was fielded last night, and probably Bruno and maybe 1-2 others would probably play in his ideal desired team.
That's Ineos's fault, though, isn't it? That Ineos hired a manager who had such a specific style that would need a massive rebuild. They didn't hire a manager who is well-rounded and can do a bit of everything. That's not what they went for. They went for a guy who has a one style, one trick pony, and that's their fault. And, you know, I think one person who's getting off scot-free here, I've got to name and shame him, is Erik ten Hag, because what he left behind was an absolute massacre of a football squad. We will never see. I'll tell you, Newcastle back in the day, I'm sorry to bring them up, but we had Kevin Keegan, we're second in the league. We hired Kenny Dalglish. In one season, he took us to 13th from second. Imagine Arsenal going to 13th next season. What Erik ten Hag has done to Manchester United squad has surpassed what Kenny Dalglish did to our squad. I've never seen someone spend so much money and make a squad so fucking bad. And he's done so much damage. We could be looking at 10 years to recover from Erik ten Hag. It's insane fucking what he's done.
Goalkeeper. We had this summer that no one will ever understand. David Gea gone, Onana replacement. Got rid of the striker, brought in Rasmus Højlund, and then Mason Mount as the number 7.
Mate, we had didn't you have Edson Cavani and Ronaldo up top, and you brought in fucking
Rasmus
Mason Mount and Højlund?
And that's the worst. That is some of the worst business. Onana one hurts the most, though. It does. I'm telling. Well, Rasmus, both of them. Whoever you might be, someone that likes to build up from the back or someone that starts at the front. Whichever way you want to look at it. That is a shit show. And that shit show was brought in by this manager himself. He said this, everyone, bro, they all stink. And Ineos, and Craig, well done, because you have more sense than I did. When I won the FA Cup, I was gassed. I was I was over the moon, and I was ready to give the manager more time. You've been smart today. You said no matter what, yes, it's a great feeling. The manager still has to go. That's intelligence, bro. I didn't do that. I went with vibes and excitement, and look at me now, bro. I've got a fucking orange beard like Ed Sheeran, bro. I'm sitting there.
Yes.
I'm sitting there.
This is what I'm saying.
We have to say, right, it's not just the manager, though. The Glazers have taken one of the biggest institutions in England, the champions over and over again. We're one of the best managers of all time. And they have ruined the club, taken money out over and over again, hired the wrong people, made mistakes at every single level, had the nerve to turn up to games and actually go and support the team as well.
Love it.
Honestly, we have to study this as a case study to how not to run a football club.
And the key with the Glazers, and now Ineos as well, because I think Ratcliffe's fucking useless himself, is the longer it goes on, the worse it is getting. So like with Fergie initially under the Glazers, papered over the cracks, signed Robin van Persie, but then obviously it slowly is deteriorating. But you still had some success in there. You had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting decent, respectable enough positions. Jose Mourinho, who now, we look back on that as like a wow moment really, for what he achieved at Man United. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse with time. And that's where there's like a mental reset is needed. I do want to ask Craig, just because I haven't really asked you this. The moment Son lifts that trophy, I remember how it felt for Newcastle. What was it like seeing someone who stayed when Harry Kane fucked off get his moment as now a club legend?
Forget the Glazers. Glaze us. Glaze us. Okay, glaze us. Tottenham Hotspur. No one gave us a chance. No one gave us a chance. KG came on this very show and he was so arrogant. So arrogant. All of your fans acted like it was a foregone conclusion. But you know what? There was a defined entity working in football this year. Harry Kane won a trophy. Right? He won his first trophy. I was so happy. Eric Dyer won his first trophy, and now Heung-min Son stayed. And this is testament to loyalty. He did it the right way, Son. He's been through the trenches. He's been through shit. He took chicken shit and made chicken salad. That's what Son did, right? And he's been rewarded for his loyalty. Everyone that hates Spurs loves Son. And you know why? Because you can see he's a real guy. He has a genuine clean heart. And you know what they say, clean hearts always win in the end. And Son is a testament to that. Watching him lift that trophy, the feeling, I just can't describe it. Like, he's such a nice guy. The smile on his face. And it was just a perfect ending. And whenever Son happens to leave, like, the legacy he has now left at this club, to lift a European trophy and guide Spurs there and be the captain to do it, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful story. And the bigger beautiful story is the fact that, like we said, all teams that have a bird, Brian, you know the feeling, the Magpies, whatever that bird is that Liverpool have, they want it as well. What is that? Yeah. Okay, the Eagles, the Crystal Palace, all the birds, we can let Devil win it. And Devil, when I saw them flying their flags around, it had devils on it. I said, this is disgusting. Get this out of here. We've got a real team winning it now, man. This is what I'm saying. We're back, man. Tottenham are back. We're in the Champions League. We're back in the Champions League. We backdoored it. And we got a Super Cup to look forward to. In the PSG, I don't care who it is. We'll take any one of them with our defensive tactics. 27%. 27% possession.
Why didn't Ange do that in the league? Why didn't he do that in the fucking league?
We're going to win a Super Cup right before the season starts. Watch it. We're going to win. There's 2 silverware before we even play in the Champions League again. Man, I'm dreaming right now. You know, before I went to bed, yeah, I started feeling my bed board to see if it was real. I was like, is this real? Like, I was like, is that my awake? I started pinching myself super hard to feel pain. Because I didn't believe this was real. We actually backed Man United in a European final and lifted the trophy. No. It just doesn't get better. I was just going to say, do you know what joy is? The thing that makes this even more sweet, obviously we've waited ages for a trophy. Obviously we beat Man United. Yeah, but it's the fact, right? It's just the fact that no one gave us a chance. No one believed in us and we actually won it. Like, to me, and there was so much jeopardy on the line. Like, there was, the stakes were so high in this game. Like, the money, just the banner rights, everything. But yeah, I'm happy. I can't complain.
The stakes were really high. And I think that's why it's hitting much harder than any other trophy defeat we've seen. Like, I feel like I've never seen Manchester United fans this rock bottom in my life, because this was a lifeline for them. It was a real, if we can get there, then you can attract better players. And the mental mathematics was going, okay, this is a way out of this. You know, this is a light at the end of the tunnel. And instead of a light at the end of the tunnel, it was Big Ange with a flashlight pissing on it. Yeah.
You know what?
You're getting nothing. You're getting nothing.
You know why? That's why they don't deserve it as well. Because a lot of the Man United fans I know, when I was speaking to them, they cared about getting into the Champions League more than actually winning a trophy. When I was speaking to them, they wanted to win the trophy. Obviously, it's a trophy, but the ones I was speaking to are like, yeah, I just want to get back in the Champions League. Like some of my close friends. And I'm like, but there's a trophy at stake here. That's why you don't deserve it. Yeah.
I wanted the trophy. I wanted the trophy. Yeah. I honestly wanted to. I've been telling you lot from the beginning of the season, we're going to win the Europa, only to now not have a Europa League. Like, I really wanted a trophy, but then I hear what you're saying. If you treat the trophy disrespect, you're not going to win it. They wanted it more. They turned up in the game. Our manager spoke about not wanting it. The week before, he says, listen, I don't know if Champions League football is the best thing for us. Fuck off, mate. Like,
that was mad. He said, oh, we're not gonna, didn't he say you're not going to have a parade and you might have a barbecue? Was that true? Or were people
there you go. You lot enjoy the parade.
Ratcliffe will be delighted that he doesn't have to fund that barbecue now. He will be.
And he wasn't even going to go hard. He wasn't even going to. There weren't even a lot of poultry coming, bro. There's not enough burgers. There were not enough buns. The guy's a disgrace, bro. What kind of millionaires counting? He's counting all the coins. Spend some more, bro. Like, fuck off.
One of my favorite moments of the night post game was when Maddison was interviewed and he starts giving Roy Keane a bit of stick, which was quite funny. I don't know if you've seen that yet, Craig. And Keane laughed it off, to be fair. And then they go to Gareth Bale and they're talking about it being Spursy, and he was like, I guess it's United, you know. And it was like, it was such a funny moment where he was giving it to them.
Go on, man. Spurs and the Welsh, we go together, man. Brennan Johnson, I will never allow Brennan Johnson disrespect around me again. Ever in my life. Yeah. No one can say anything. That guy has gone down in history. He scored the winner in a European final for us.
I've got to give credit to one creator who I watch sometimes. You know, I don't know if you've seen her, Alison, the Man United girl.
No, what did she do?
Wait, Alice. Alice talks.
Yeah.
She literally before the game goes, Spurs are going to win 1-0 and it's going to be a jammy Brennan Johnson back post lucky goal. And like, then Spurs are going to park the bus. Like, literally, just called it spot on. Fair play to her. I think that's enough for the day, boys. We got the Champions League finish to the Premier League season. The race for Champions League. It's on. It's me and Josh. Me and Josh are going through it this weekend. Chelsea, obviously playing Forest, Newcastle, playing Everton, and Aston Villa are playing Manchester United. It really feels like Aston Villa.
Loss.
Villa are going to win that game. I think that's pretty nailed on, especially with how dejected Man United are going to be after this. And it's basically down to Chelsea, Forest and Newcastle to see what the hell happens.
Congratulations, Brian. I'll say it now. Well done. You're in the Champions League. We are. We're not going to win it. We're not. We are not going to win. We are not going to win against Forest.
By the way, Everton's record in the last 6 games is identical to Newcastle's. David Moyes is doing a great job there. So there's nothing about this that's confident.
Brian, they've been on a piss up for the entire week. Relax.
Have they?
You're going to smash them. Yeah, they've just been celebrating the Goodison Park, leaving Goodison Park.
Oh, that's the fans, mate.
No, the players have been doing it as well. Worried. You're fine. I don't know why you're worried. You don't need to worry.
Because Spurs are in the Champions League and we've been up in the fucking top 6 for ages and we might not get it. Do you know what I mean? So,
Craig, what are you going to say if Newcastle drop out and you're in the Champions League?
No, imagine how bad it would have been if Man United had got it though.
Yeah,
if Man United had got it and we fell out, that would have fucked the whole season up for me. Now at least I can be like, well, we won the cup. I can handle it. You know
I'm a Man United fan this week. I'm gonna get my Man United shirt out and sit with KG and watch the game.
Don't even waste your time, mate. Don't waste your time.
I got to say though, KG, you've been fucking entertaining in the last 24 hours. I've watched the live stream clips. I've watched his reaction, and there was a point where he was just going, "I'm already dead. I'm already dead." And I've never seen him like this in my life. I'm like, can we get a wellness check? Do we want to have a mental health intervention?
Check on me, bro. This is health. It. All of them, bro. We need a wellness check because I'm not well. I'm not even involved in that last conversation that you lot did, yeah? I wasn't involved. I support fucking Man United, mate.
You're talking about top 4. This is what he signed up for. Honestly. All right, we'll leave it there. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.